Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. This is the 9th video in our new international relations series where we will discuss in detail about a nation which is in the news and its relationship with India thoroughly from both UPSC prelims as well as mains perspective. The country that we will discuss today is Ukraine. Ukraine is a country in Eastern Europe. It is the second largest European country after Russia, which borders it to the east and the northeast. Ukraine is separated from Russia by the Kerch Strait, which connects the Sea of Azov to the Black Sea. It also borders Belarus to the north, Poland, Slovakia, and Hungary to the west, and Romania and Moldova to the southwest. It has a coastline along the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov to the south and southeast. Kyiv is the nation's capital and the largest city located on the Dnieper River in north-central Ukraine. Other major cities are Kharkiv, Dnipro, and Odessa. Ukraine's official language is Ukrainian. Russia is also widely spoken, especially in the east and southern parts of Ukraine. The landscapes of Ukraine consists mostly of fertile steppes and plateaus crossed by rivers such as the Dnieper, Dniester, and the Southern Bug as they flow south into the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. To the southwest, the delta of the Danube forms the border with Romania. The country's only mountains are the Carpathian Mountains in the west, of which the highest is Mount Hoverla, and the Crimean Mountains are in the extreme south along the coast. Ukraine gained independence in 1991 as the Soviet Union was dissolved and thereafter declared itself neutral. A new constitution was adopted in 1996. In 2014, a series of mass demonstrations known as the Euromaidan led to the establishment of a new government after a revolution. Russia then unilaterally annexed Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula, and a pro-Russian unrest culminated in a war in the Donbas region between Russian-backed separatists and the government forces in eastern Ukraine. In 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine as Ukraine was trying to seek closer ties with the United States of America, European Union, and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. In fact, Ukraine's intention to join the pro-West, anti-Russian association of NATO led to the war as Russia felt that NATO soldiers close to the Ukraine-Russia borders would threaten the sovereignty of Russia. Now coming to India-Ukraine relations. India has an extensive bilateral relationship with Ukraine which spans across all spheres of cooperation. India was one of the first countries to recognize Ukraine after the disintegration of the Soviet Union. India established diplomatic relations with Ukraine in January 1992 with the opening of the Embassy of India in Kyiv in May 1992. Ukraine opened its mission in Delhi in February 1993, which was its first mission in Asia. Although India and Ukraine cooperates in a range of domains ranging from defense to diaspora, however, India's bias towards Russia has prevented New Delhi from going full steam on its engagement with Ukraine. There has been decline in bilateral relations after the Russia-Ukraine war. Nonetheless, in the month of August 2024, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Ukraine. Prime Minister Modi's landmark visit is the first to Ukraine from a Prime Minister of India since the country established diplomatic relations with Ukraine over 30 years ago. Let's take a look at some of the fields of cooperation between the two nations. Number 1. Geopolitical ties. In the Soviet Union era, under the Ukrainian-born Leonid Brezhnev, Ukraine supported India in the 1970 war against Pakistan. The slogan of Hindi Rusi Bhai Bhai was in fact coined by USSR's Ukrainian leader Nikita Khrushchev. Regular exchange of high-level visits and interactions between India and Ukraine takes place. The recent visit by Prime Minister Modi to Kyiv is an example. Another would be regular telephonic communication between the Indian Prime Minister and the President of Ukraine, Mr. Volodymyr Zelensky. took place during Russia-Ukraine war. Number 2. Defense cooperation. Ukraine has been a source of military technology and equipment for India since its independence. For example, Ukraine manufactured R-27 air-to-air missiles which are used on the Indian Su-30 MKI fighters operated by Indian Air Force. India has also started exporting defense equipments to Ukraine during its war with Russia. Number 3. Economic cooperation. In 2020, India was Ukraine's largest export destination in the Asia-Pacific region. India was Ukraine's fifth largest export destination. There has been significant growth of bilateral trade between India and Ukraine in the last 25 years. Bilateral trade between India and Ukraine reached approximately $3.4 billion in 2021-22. Main items of export from Ukraine to India are agricultural products, metallurgical products, plastics and polymers. Main items of export from India to Ukraine are pharmaceuticals, machinery, chemicals, food products, etc. A number of Indian companies have their representative offices in Ukraine. For example, Office of Indian Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association in Ukraine. Number 4. Educational collaborations. Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program offers Ukrainian students training or capacity building programs in different centers of excellence in India. The Indian Council for Cultural Relations Scholarship too offers higher level courses covering wide range of subjects in eminent Indian institutions to Ukrainian students. Kendriya Hindi Sansthan Scholarship Program offers scholarships to Ukrainian students to pursue higher-level Hindi language courses. There are approximately 18,000 Indian students studying medical and engineering in Ukrainian universities. These Indian nationals, predominantly medical students, were repatriated by the Government of India under the Operation Ganga in the wake of the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Number 5. Energy collaborations. Ukraine is known to assist India in energy supply via gas turbines. Ukrainian Zorya gas turbines have been not only propelling Indian battleships and submarines, they also enabled the Chandrayaan moon landing. Before Russia's full-scale invasion, India had signed a $100 million deal with Ukraine's Zorya Mashproek to develop gas turbine power plants. Ukraine will need new production sites which India can offer while also creating thousands of jobs. Number 6. Diaspora. The local Indian community comprises mostly of business professionals and students studying medicine. Indian business professionals are predominantly engaged in manufacturing, packaging, trading and service industry. The local Indian community has formed an association called India Club, which organizes cultural and sports events. Number 7. Cultural ties. More than 30 Ukrainian cultural associations or groups spread across the country are engaged in promotion of Indian art forms, yoga, philosophy, Ayurveda and spirituality. For example, celebration of Yoga Day and birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi is done. In fact, the iconic Oscar-winning song Natu Natu was shot in Ukraine. Number 8. Humanitarian assistance. India has provided 12 consignments measuring 99.3 tons of humanitarian assistance to Ukraine during the Russia-Ukraine war. The aid and assistance comprises of medicines, blankets, tents, tarpaulin, medical equipments, etc. Indian pharmaceutical companies have donated more than $8 million worth of medical aid and financial assistance to Ukraine. However, there are certain issues between the two nations, such as number 1. Post the beginning of Russia-Ukraine war, the volume of India-Ukraine trade had dropped from $3.39 billion in 2021-22 to $0.71 billion in 2023-24 due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine crisis. Number 2. There has been a decline in trade which has impacted India's import of agricultural, machine building and military goods from Ukraine. For example, impact on the supply chain of sunflower oil has led to rising inflation in the country. Since India's imports of wheat and sunflower oil from Ukraine has been impacted, this has led to a food insecurity situation. Number 3. India's continued engagement with Russia and its decision to avoid all public criticism of Moscow has been a thorn in India-Ukraine geopolitical cooperation. Number 4. Ukraine's criticism of India's nuclear test and India's Kashmir policy has also been an annoyance in India's engagement with Ukraine. The rift between Russia and Ukraine, which turned into an armed combat when Moscow annexed Crimean Peninsula from Ukraine in 2014 and then again in 2022 when Ukraine announced its intention to join NATO, has created a potential dilemma for India. New Delhi has adopted a studied public neutrality towards Russia. It has abstained from successive votes in the United Nations Security Council, General Assembly, and Human Rights Council that condemned Russian aggression in Ukraine. But India also understands and empathizes with Ukraine as it faced similar aggression from a territorially larger neighbor, that is China. Now, with Prime Minister Modi's visit to Kiev, India must maintain a tightrope balance, look after its interests first, and play the peacemaker second. This will give India a good opportunity to rekindle its relations with the West-backed Ukraine. This brings us to the end of our video. We hope that you found it informative for your exam preparations. Please click on the like button, share our videos with your friends, and subscribe to Exact IAS on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. Thank you for watching this. I will see you in our next.